Hey guys, Dennis here. Hope you're doing well. Um, I wanted to do a video on something that's a topic that I think is very important to talk about. I'm sort of on a mission to just put on videos, but I've learned in my own life, I would consider myself to be someone that is very aware, um, very analytical person, a planner, a thinker. That could be good and bad. Um, but for the things that are good, I want to make videos about them. So I want to make a video on realizations that I've had for a long time, and sometimes things happen that kind of cause me to think about them more, and they kind of come up every so often in different situations and that type of thing. But just something that it's a realization that has helped me in certain situations and will continue to help. But I think it's something that a lot of people don't come to realize. They're not aware of things, and that's, to me, I find that that's one of the most prominent things that are rampant in our society is lack of awareness. And lack of awareness is the root of a lot of issues. And when I say that, I mean that where you're not aware of what is going on, of your own emotions, of your circumstances, of your thought process, of your surroundings and your circumstances, it prevents you from making responsible decisions, from taking control of your emotions and your thoughts and your circumstances, and ultimately be in control of your life. What I find tends to happen, and I understand why it happens, but when it happens, because we have what I would consider a very unaware collective society, it breeds bigger problems because now you have this big monster that's just moving in a direction that it doesn't know how to even control. It's a monster that can't be controlled. And it's even worse when you don't even understand that it's a monster. That's when it's really bad. But it's a monster that's basically it consists of each individual person, and each individual person contributes to that. And each individual person feels that lack of awareness in one way or another in their lives every single day. But I find that the biggest issue in our society and in the world, but mostly our society, I live in the United States. Chances are, if you're watching this, you live in the United States. So I find that in the U.S., it's an issue that's it's exacerbated, it's encouraged, and it's amplified every single day, and it gets worse and becomes a norm. So it's only going to get worse and worse. So my goal with this video and videos like this is to hopefully impart certain realizations that have helped me and are helping me, and that what I would like to kind of impart and help other people, because I feel like that's something, it's kind of an advantage that I feel like I have, and I feel like it's also a disadvantage that a lot of people have. The biggest issue that I see that affects our society is that we're not equipped for the things that we are surrounded by. We're not equipped for our reality. From birth, we are programmed in a way that is completely detrimental to ourselves. And if we're not equipped some way, somehow, as we get older, the realities of life affect you in a way that throws you off repeatedly in your life. Because reality throws a lot of curveballs your way, you need to be able to know how to process those things, right? From when we're children, this is the stuff that gets indoctrinated in us. When we're children, we compare, what we have to, our friends and what they have, or other people that we want to be like. We compare, what our parents have to their parents. We compare ourselves to our friends and other people, and we start labeling ourselves. We start early on realizing what it feels like to not be enough or to have enough. It starts when we're children. And I think the problem now is even more for the newer and the younger generations. We're exposed to much more quickly, and we take on, or the children can take on, the younger crowd can take on negative thought processes and beliefs very quickly, which means that causes a whole new host of problems and a lot sooner in people's lives. But you can see the fundamental issue that we are programmed not to feel like we are enough. We are literally programmed, I think, both intentionally and maybe non-intentionally, to feel like we don't have enough, or we are not enough. And you can see that idea is rampant across society. And anyone that has no clue about anything I'm talking about will know, based off my next statements, that this is true. Why is it that celebrities, they make millions of dollars, right? That's what we're taught, or that's what's encouraged in society, right? Make all this money and then you'll be happy, right? Or look perfect and be, shredded or in shape, and you'll be happy then, right? Make all this money, get all these cars, and have all these houses, and you'll be happy. Well, why is it that celebrities, when they get to that point, if that's really the ultimate goal, why is it that on every magazine that you'll see in any supermarket, any store that you go to, and they have all these racks of magazines, it's the next celebrity that, committed suicide, or they have tons of, relationship problems, divorce problems, or they're being sued by X, Y, and Z, or, they're on drugs, or they killed themselves. Because even then, even if that's the goal, these people that supposedly are at the goal, they're well known, they have all the fame and endorsements and the money they need ever want. They still have bare bones fundamental issues that everyone else has. Why? Because they're not equipped. They were not equipped mentally to handle what they were going to handle at that level. There's levels to everything. At the bottom level, when you're a child, which I mentioned before and earlier, you're already going through that. So being a child, you have to start to become equipped with how to process what you're going through. If you don't learn how to process that, it's only going to get amplified, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to manifest in lots of different ways, and you're going to have lots of problems. I believe that's where the drug problem that we have in the United States is, or the world really. And I can actually speak about that because I actually do organic search lead generation for drug rehab facilities around the U.S. So I know the types of calls and the amount of search volume and the scale at which the problem is more than most people, the average person, I would say, because I do this for a living. But that's where the drug problem comes. Why would anyone in their right mind ever feel the need to even try a drug? Think about that. At what point in your life do you say, my life is so bad that I need to escape and try a drug? That's not something that someone in their right mind who's happy and fulfilled and satisfied, has meaning and purpose in their life, and is too distracted by productivity in their life. That's not something that someone like that gets into. They get into that and they're influenced by that because of where they are in their lives. Alcohol. You can see how even kids, they think alcohol is a big deal, right? And all the people that die from alcoholism or have alcohol problems and their marriages are all destroyed, once you start leaning to that side, it's because there's already an example of things not going on, like going well in your life, and you're not equipped to handle it. So by the time you got into drugs and alcohol or any other addiction, your issues have already been going on for a long time in your life. And you've gotten to that point because you were not equipped to handle whatever caused you to get to that point. Everything is about equipment, right? We're not equipped. In fact, we are programmed the opposite way to feel like we're not equipped. So then we look for the solution outside of ourselves. To me, that is the largest problem. And even in my life, I can see the programming in my own life. And again, as I'm so self-aware and analytical, I analyze what I'm thinking, what I'm feeling, and my surroundings and what people are saying and everything at every second and every moment. And I can see and understand my own behaviors and kind of realize where they're coming from and what I can do about them. But it's also important to be able to have enough awareness to be almost like a third party, to have a third perspective of what you're doing, of what's going on, how you're responding to those things. That's all part of being equipped. And I think that's where I have somewhat of an advantage and why I want to make the video. Because if you're not aware, there's nothing you're going to be able to do about it. There is nothing that you're going to be able to, your mind is not at the level to understand and process properly what is going on. And this is at the most basic level. You can take a brand new Mercedes that you have to pump 93 gas in, right? The manufacturer says this car takes 93 pump gas. If you put 87 in there for a couple days, a couple weeks, a couple months, your car is toast. It doesn't matter how expensive it is, because the car was not equipped to take 87 gas. It was not equipped. It doesn't have what it needs to process that type of gas. It doesn't. And you're going to brick your engine. It's the most fundamental. Anyone can understand that example. And then you can have thousands of examples. But I feel that the primary issue that we have stems from being programmed that we are not enough. We don't have, we look stupid if we don't have the latest phone or the freshest sneakers, or if we're not driving the hottest car, or if we don't look like we have a great lifestyle, we're not traveling all the time. When the reality of it is, you can take all the money away, all the cars away, and everything you have at the end of the day are just people. People that we all have the same and very related issues, and we're all the same. But the division comes from that cultural programming that we are not enough. Where does that come from? It comes from our upbringing, it comes from social media, it comes from the news, it comes from everything that you see. Every single day, there is a fight for your time, your mind, and your money. Every single day. And when you go on YouTube, it's some example of some millionaire about he figured it out. Hey, I'm going to teach you because you haven't figured it out yet. Or some girl, some guy that's shredded, I'm going to teach you because you haven't figured it out yet. Or hey, these weight loss pills and this and that. Why are prescription drugs? Why is that industry a multi-billion-dollar industry? Why? Because of all the issues that we have. I believe that a lot of the physical ailments that people have, the sicknesses and diseases that they have, stem from and come from the stress that you carry on your life every single day when you don't know how to process what life throws at you. And when you're dealing with it every single day and you're not happy, you're not satisfied, your attitude is off all the time, you're pissed off, you don't like where you are in life, you don't know how you're going to get out, then what's the solution, right? All these problems you start having, then you get all these commercials about how, if you have this issue, if you have trouble sleeping, if you have all this stuff, all these symptoms that are just based off of not being equipped to handle it yourself, not being emotionally equipped, physically equipped, spiritually equipped, or mentally equipped. Though all those issues will start manifesting in your body the same way it would manifest in the engine of a car that's not equipped to handle 87 gas, and then you're pumping 87 gas into the damn car. That's what it comes into. You are not equipped. And I'm not making this video because I think I'm perfect and I got it all down. I'm 100% equipped. No, I'm making it because I'm aware enough to know that equipment is the issue, and this constant feeling of what I have is not enough, or where I am is not enough. I need to show that I'm at this XYZ level, right? And that becomes like a drug. It becomes an addiction that does more harm than good. You might think that, oh, when I buy this, these $300 pair of shoes, or when I buy this $5,000 watch, I'm going to feel better. I'm going to look cooler, right? That's like an addiction. Well, now you need more to stay at that level. That gives you a high and a confidence or whatever ego boost that you need. And it makes you feel like you've stepped up, you've leveled up, right? That's going to get old. And now you got to keep doing it to keep it up. You're locked to this issue from not knowing how to process this. And I can tell you from realizations that I've had that the secret, this is what I 100% believe is the secret, is to not play the game. Don't play the game. Understand that every single day when you wake up in the morning, you are a part of a game. A game that you did not create. You do not know the rules to. The rules change whenever they want to, and whoever wants to change them that are way above you and that you'll never meet in your life. Don't play the game. You are designed to lose the game. The best decision you can make mentally, spiritually, physically, and in every other way possible is to not play the game. But the awareness comes from knowing you're playing a game. You're plugged into the game from the moment you're born. This need for more. I need this and I need that. We only need food, water, and shelter. That's it. That's it. But we are programmed to feel like we need more. Why do we spend $1,200 on a stupid iPhone? I love technology. I have nice stuff, and that's cool. But why do we need that? Why do people feel like they can buy a phone this year and the next year they need the next one out? You know who's feeding off of that? Apple. The companies that have it figured out, because we at a fundamental level as individuals don't have it figured out, that they're capitalizing on us not being aware because we feel like we need more than what we already have. That's the problem fundamentally from the beginning. If you are able to not only have the awareness of what I'm talking about, and I'm hoping that you're understanding some stuff. If you're able to understand that you are part of a game and you're playing a game, then you're also capable of realizing that you don't need to play that game. It's like if you spend your entire life with the equipment on, you got the gear on, you got your jersey on, it says your last name on the back of your jersey, and you're playing football and you're on the field and you're trying not to get tackled and you're watching for where the ball comes, and you're so involved in it that you can't even step back and realize that you're playing a damn game. When you get the awareness of this, I'm going to tell you that it's like taking the equipment off, setting it off aside, and walking off the field and looking back and sitting in the referee's chair and saying, this is a game. You can see all the players. Even if it was a video game, what is it, right? You got the people that are with you, you got the people that are against you, and it's a game. It's a game. Even when you play a game on a regular gaming system, it's not your gaming system, it's not your game, you didn't design it, you're playing by their rules, and you don't know the code, and you can't change the code. You're playing that game in the box that is what someone else created. Until you create your own box, you're not going to win. You're not going to win. I believe 100% that that's where all the problems stem from, and that the solution and the secret is to not play the game. You can step away, say, you know what? I would rather have independence and freedom from this crap and peace of mind and everything that comes with it, from just saying, you know what, I'm not playing this game. I'm not going to play this game. I thought about this too. Here in the U.S., there's places obviously that are very expensive, and even anywhere that you go. Let's say you want a house, right? You want this big house. Everyone wants the big house, right? $400,000 house, let's just say. You can get that $400,000 house, in in a community somewhere with gated community and all that, cool. And you can feel XYZ. You can take your 10, 15 years to go work for it and get it, right? because everyone wants the house with the lake in the back or whatever. Did you know that you can just go to another country with the same damn lake in the back with a way better view, a house just as big for much smaller? The reason why we don't do that is because we're programmed to think that the way to do it is here. So your happiness is point B and you're in point A. What I realize is the problem is if you're trying to be happy and you're trying to get to point B and B is your happiness, then you're going to be miserable until you get to B. And the separation between A and B is determined obviously by your work ethic and your ambition and your goals and whatever, and how realistic it is and the timing and all that stuff and the resources you'll need to get to B. But there are other intangible factors that can increase the distance between A and B. I'm going to tell you, if I can help you at all, and this information, I kind of realized this way of saying it before the video, and I can take this advice and use it myself. But I can tell you that the secret is right here. You ready? Is to calculate. Think about and analyze. What is the bare minimum I need? What are the things that I really want? What's the bare minimum that I'm going for that's going to equal peace of mind, security, happiness, satisfaction, fulfillment? What is that? Because I can guarantee you that 99% of society has never even thought about that. It is always a chase, and stress and frustration and all that comes from desire. Desire is the fuel for the chase. So if you're always chasing, you're always desiring, then you always have a gap between A and B. The gap between A and B is a problem. If you can become happy with a smaller gap, then everything that you want becomes more realistic. It's within arm's reach. You don't feel as much of the frustration, and you can truly accomplish things that are meaningful to you where you are at. Where you're at. You might have 2 cars, you might be fine, you might have money saved up, and you might be healthy and have relationships, but I can guarantee you at some level, you're still dissatisfied. You still need more, you still want more. There's something that's driving you. What is it? Have you even stopped to think, what am I doing and why? What am I doing and why? That you need to know what are the things that are going to make me happy. I realized this about, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so. I remember as I was in my room, the lights were off, and I was sitting on my bed, and I was talking to someone on the phone. I forgot who it was. And then I got off the phone, and I sat there for like a couple hours just thinking about stuff. And I realized that I would be more happy being in the middle of nowhere in a small little house with a little lake in the back where I could just go fishing, I could chill in nature and be away from people and away from the crap and the BS. When I realized that that's what I wanted, and it wasn't, 3 cars and a boat and jet skis and a helicopter, that's all cool. That's all cool. But that cannot be the goal, and that cannot be point B. That cannot be your happiness. It can't, because then you're never going to get it. So you're going to be miserable your entire life, and you're probably going to die young because of the stress that brings you, right? The stress of not having it. You don't need things outside of you to be happy. That is the sign. That is a problem. That is why prescription drugs are a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why weight loss is a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's why makeup and all that health and all that crazy stuff is all a multi-billion-dollar industry because of demand for it. Why? Because we've been programmed to give it demand. If you just take the essence out of it, you can take the power away from it. It's like a 17 or an 18-year-old, right? All they want to do is hang out and look cool and think that they're grown and feel like they're grown and want to do grown people things, right? And they want to drink, and they'll go out of their way to go drink, and then they get into an accident or they get into trouble with their family and their parents or, cops or whatever. They go out of their way to do stupid things. Why? Because the essence of drinking at a young age is what powers the stupidity of it. If you can take the essence out of it and say alcohol is stupid, it's not a big deal, then less people will want to do it, and less people will do stupid things to try and get it. You got to take the power out of it. You got to pop the air out of the balloon. And the only way you can do that is to have the awareness so that you can get the equipment, so you can be physically equipped, mentally equipped, financially equipped, spiritually equipped, emotionally equipped to handle what's thrown at you. And then when you get there, you'll see things as less of a big deal because you can handle it. You're looking at it a completely different way. It's like you versus you version 2. You're like, this is a joke. Someone says something that throws you off, you're bigger than that. It's not a big deal. But people that are not equipped, they have high blood pressure and their anxiety and all this stuff. Why? You don't need any of that. You need to get yourself in order. So then you don't need anything else or anybody. When you think that you need someone else for your happiness, or you need some drug or alcohol, or you need some material thing for your happiness, you are screwed. And there's no one that's going to fix you because you are the problem. Your happiness and your satisfaction is your responsibility, because if you don't know what you want, why are you looking for anyone else to give it to you when you don't even know what you want? If everyone would just take a little bit more responsibility for themselves and have a little bit more awareness, because we're not equipped with this type of mentality, we would be in a better world, right? Where does greed come from? Desire. Why does someone that makes $50 million a year feel that they need to continue making more money? Let me pause right there too, because there's no problem to continue making more money. You can make billions, that's not the problem. But it's because they need more. They need more. Why is there someone that has all that money to stuff all the problems? Because the money's not the solution. There are people that can make $10,000 a year and be way happier than a millionaire. There are people that live in other countries that barely have water and food, and they live a much more satisfied life because they're not fighting against each other. They don't live with the everyday problems of, I need to look better than my neighbor. I need to look like I'm keeping up. That's going to drive you to the ground. If you want to do any of those things, do them because you want to do them. And do them at your level, not because someone else made it important or made it look important. All that crappy stuff on social media is bullshit. It's to wash your fucking brain. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. News, bullshit. Everything in the newspaper, bullshit. All that prescription drugs, bullshit. You don't need any of it. In fact, it is the problem. It is the problem. It is the problem. Understand that. If you understand that that's the problem, you're good, because then you don't have to play the game. You're just watching the game from outside. Yeah, I'm not playing that. That's cute. I'm not dealing with that. And you can literally level up so that you can watch situations like that. When something happens, you're not emotionally attached. You're not attached to what happened at your job, or, oh, my damn car. I got rear-ended the other day. I was like, you know what? I realized I can't be attached to no vehicle. I can't. You can't. The more expensive the vehicle, the more attached you are to it. So that makes you more vulnerable. Be unattached from people, from outcomes, from expectations, from materialistic things. Do things that make you happy. Spend more time outside. Exercise and do things that are fun. Don't clog yourself to be thinking that the way up is to continue doing what you've been doing. The best way, and if you think everything I'm talking about is crap, the best way, don't even listen to me. Don't even ignore what I'm talking about. What I realized, the most real way to understand if what you're doing and what you've believed up until now works for you is just do a self-evaluation. What have I believed in the last 5-10 years to be true? How is that working out for me? What have I done in the last 5-10 years that I thought was what I needed to do? How has that panned out for me? It's that simple. It's that simple. I'm assuming that everyone's watching this video is older than 10 years old. So you can do that. I've been thinking this way. Where has that gotten me? And if it panned out well, keep doing what you're doing. But at every level, understand that you're playing a game. You don't have to play the game. And you can think independently of what anyone else is doing or social media. It's all artificial junk. That's for people that are not in control of their own brains. That's what that's for. That is what that is for. Don't play the game. Don't play the game. All that hype crap is junk. Don't play the game. You do not need pills and all that stuff. You just need to get your mind right. Be separate from the crap. Take the stress out of your life and do things that give you peace of mind and security and genuine happiness and satisfaction. Genuine. Not what you think other people would do to make them happy. Your happiness. Anyway, guys, I hope you got something out of that. I think it's an important message that if a lot of people understood it, it would take a weight off of their shoulders because they probably don't know what's going on. They don't know why they're stuck. They don't know why things are going wrong in their own lives. They can't handle the stress. They're overwhelmed. You don't need to turn to drugs and alcohol and pills and all that stuff. You're probably there because you haven't been able to process what you've been going through. And if you're able to just have the awareness that you don't have to play the game, then you've taken the power of the situation away from what it actually is, and it's not as big of a deal now. You're less attached to whatever's going on or is happening to you, and now you can think more clearly. It doesn't affect you as much, which doesn't take you to those drastic measures. That's the goal. Look for true happiness. What's the minimum that you need to be happy? If you want a car and a nice apartment, you're good. You're way ahead of everybody else. Because if you can just say, you know what, I just need this and this, then all that other stuff that you thought that you needed or that you were paying for in the month or that you thought that you were going to get in 5 years, but you have to grind it out and now you're not happy because you need to get from A to B. You don't need any of that stuff. Now you realize, well, I just shaved off, 5-10 years of what I was working for because I realized that now that wasn't going to get me happiness, right? At the end of the day, think about this. If you're lucky enough to think about this, I think about this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, if you're lucky enough to die in a deathbed, I guess, as maybe as bad as that sounds, I don't know, because there's definitely worse ways to go, but visualize this. This is another one. Visualize this. If you're laying on your back and you're looking up at this and you're in this hospital and you see these machines or something and you can see the nurses walking around, you see the monitors. If you're capable of visualizing that, you're also going to be able to know that the things that you are going to regret, it's not going to be, man, I wish I would have bought that house, or I wish I would have, worked hard for another car. I wish I got a new iPhone, or, that boat would have made me happy. I would have been happy if I would have had a boat before I died. None of that is going to matter at all. At all. So if you're able to clear your mind, understand what's going to make you happy, what's actually important, which is nothing you see on TV, on your computer, in the news, that's all fake significance. That's all to get you wrapped up and distracted. At the end of the day, you need to be happy knowing that, I would have been happy with a guitar if I could just make music all day. You could have been, you could have just focused on making music if that's what made you happy, or fishing, or spending time, with your family, or writing, or drawing, whatever. Things that are not associated with these long-term goals or all this stuff. Focus on removing the things and the people and the thoughts that bring you stress and frustration, and focus on creating new habits, new mindsets, and doing things differently that are going to bring you more peace of mind and security and genuine satisfaction and fulfillment. That, to me, is the secret. That's the secret. So I'm hoping you got something out of that. If you did, comment, chat me, call me, email me, whatever. Let me know if you got something out of that. I think that would help a lot of people. Freedom is the secret. And there's levels of freedom. There's different types of freedom. But I think you can gain all of those freedoms. You can gain spiritual freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom by understanding yourself and understanding that you are separate from everything around. You can choose to be tied up and attached to it and affected by it, or you can just realize that it really has no power. It only has power because you gave it power and other people gave it power. So you assumed value there, that it had power. It had no power. It had no power. You gave it power, so now it took over you. So just eliminate stuff that's just not important. Be independent enough to think for yourself. Realize that at the end of the day, The only thing that matters is your happiness, your satisfaction. Because if you don't go for that while you're alive, your entire life was meaningless. And if you're going to live a life of stress and frustration and disease and all that stuff, what was the point of it? What was the point of it? You look back, okay, I worked 5 days a week for my entire life, and then I died. Here and there I went out, had good food, watched TV. What'd you do? Nothing, zero. You accomplished nothing for yourself or anyone else. So the trick is to get the freedom, and it starts with mental freedom. Because at the end of the day, and I realize this, people that are sick, we call them, right? We say they have diseases. And I read this in a book, I think it was a long time ago. It's called a disease because it's a dis-ease. There's dis-ease in your body, and that stems from what you go through and how you take it, how you react, how you respond, how it affects you. So if you can control that, that should be, I think, the ultimate goal for humans. It's controlling that, your mind and your emotions. I heard it this way a long time ago, that personal development is undoing what you've learned since you were 5 years old. How crazy is that? It's not learning new things, it's undoing. If you didn't learn the things that you learned, if those things that you deal with now and those beliefs that you have that don't serve you weren't integrated into your life and didn't infiltrate you from when you were a kid, then you probably wouldn't be having the issues that you have now. So it's the undoing of what we've been taught, right? So again, I hope you got something out of that. I think it's important to mention, and I think it'll help a lot of people out. So if that helped you, let me know. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.